I love it. Good morning, everyone. Officially Monday, March 27th. Uh, Great to have you here. Kind of what was roaming around in my head this morning was it started with a bit of a story. So I used to sit on the Chamber of Commerce, the board of directors, and when I lived in Camrose. And one of our responsibilities was when we found a new business that opened, we would go in and one of us from the board would come in and introduce ourselves. And of course, it was to welcome new business owners, but it was a recruitment method, right? To ask people to join the Chamber of Commerce. And I remember going to this woman, and she had a balloon store. So everything she sold was around her desire and her gift of building balloon bouquets, right? And so she had all of these sample balloon bouquets. You could do it yourself. She would taught classes on building your own balloon bouquets, and then she did balloon bouquets. And so, I had said to her, and asked her if she wanted to come to a meeting and, trying to recruit her. And she's, opened up herself. So she had no staff, which is fairly typical, right, of people who start their business. They open it up. And she was on Main Street in Camrose. And so then at that time I was coaching, I was actually business consulting, and I had said to her, tell me a little bit more about your business and your business plan and what kind of advertising you're doing, right? Because I was hoping I could, from that perspective, then maybe assist her in buying media, because I used to buy media for people. And so she said, "Oh, I don't need to do any of that. I don't need to do any of that advertising stuff because I live on Main Street in Camrose." And she was like, fully believed that, like with all of her being. And so then I just continued to have conversation and asked her how she got into business. And she said, I've was in, and I actually think she had a career, right? I was gonna say, I thought I remembered, but I don't. So she had a career, and she used to do this as a side hustle. And all of her friends and family told her she was so good at doing this, she should quit her full-time job and do this, right, permanently. She should do this for a living. So she invested her savings, right, into having this storefront, but didn't think she needed to advertise, right? She didn't need to like let people know that she was there because she lived on Main Street in Camrose. And so then I said to her, "Oh, when is your sign coming? Right, your business sign?" And she goes, "Oh, I don't need a business sign. I live in Camrose, and people are gonna like just pop in." So this was in 2011, 2010, yeah, 2010, 2011. And I remember leaving and just being really, really sick to my stomach because I had been in business already at that time for 10 years, had a storefront business, right? I had fitness centers, and I was sick to my stomach because I became aware that she actually truly believed that, and that she was going to be in for a world of surprises, right? Because even in 2010, people, didn't roam around downtown Camrose and window shop. Like that concept of window shopping really wasn't there. And we had some, like, our downtown Camrose was really, really vibrant. We had a really vibrant downtown, well looked after, taken care of. It was safe. They had a beautification program, right? So there was funding to renovate if you wanted to renovate and look a certain like way. The city used to put beautiful big flower pots, like they were one of the first cities in Alberta to invest in that. So the beautiful downtown, and one main street, two side streets, so really close knit, right? But I remember thinking that's not going to work, and then kind of judge myself because I wasn't judging her. although I was judging her, right? So I can say to share that with you, but I had so much emotion. And within 10 months, she was out of business, right? And I just I was sick to my stomach, but I used it to remind myself that we can be really good at our thing, but we might not know about business. And so it gave me this opportunity to like talk about business as much as I possibly could, because I was in awareness that we might be really good at the thing that we do, but business might not be a thing. And that was my first, well, probably my biggest, I was gonna say my first aha, but that's not true. My biggest awareness of I just loved business, and everything I looked at when I looked at a business was from the view of a business and someone who owned a business versus um, having that passion, right? So I can look at any business from that perspective, and really became aware that I had this gift. But what I started to realize this morning, kind of started last night when I was in the hot tub, and I realized how many coaches, consultants, any workers, like anyone who's loves doing what they do, and they want to use online strategies to bring people to their front door. But how many of people are showing up the way that she did, which is I have a solo practice, right? So I'll just say coaching. Someone's like, I'm a coach, right? And then they um, go and get a name, or they come up with a name. And so then my first question is your name actually, like, so in Alberta, in Canada, we need to go and register our name so that the name belongs to us. So did you actually go register your name within your province? Have you registered your name within the country? Right? Have you, because if you haven't, you actually don't own that name. Okay? Most business owners don't know that, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, like, she had an open sign in her front door, and that's what she, like right in her front window. She's expecting people who are walking downtown Camrose to see that, oh, there was a new business there. She had her business name printed in the front window, but no big sign. So do you have an open sign in your practice, in your business? Do you have a banner in the window, or do you have a sign? No bad or wrong answer, just an awareness, right? If you're open for business, how do people know, right? So we can say, well, I have a website. Awesome. How are people finding your website? Because I got to tell you, they're not just finding your website. There's no like magical fairy dust that you can sprinkle on the internet to just magically find. So people might be searching for what you do, right? They might be searching, but they might not be searching. So for an example, even 3 years ago, business coaching or business coaches was not a well-searched word, right? And so if that's what you're looking forward to, right? So then we can go, okay, well, as a website, then there are things that we can do. We can do search engine optimization and search engine marketing for our website, right? So that's a form of putting a banner, right? Putting a sign up. So you could have your website SEO'd and SEM'd, it's called, so that when you're Googled, when your name is Googled, depending on who you hire and what they do, it's attached to your website. But if it's done, and I say this with the utmost respect, and this is not, if it's done by your cousin's brother's nephew who dabbles in SEO, that would be kind of like, having someone, you have a big sign on top of your building, and you have someone that decides to go up there and write your business with like a Jiffy marker, right? Like, be an awareness of, no, unless of course that's their business. of SEO and SEM. But SEO and SEM isn't magic fairy dust either. It needs to be kept up, right? You need to drive traffic to your website. That's how you get listed in the rankings on Google if you want to do that. Or have reviews on Google. That will help you. Or own your Google, like do Google Places. That can help you. Right? But that can be more difficult for business like coaches because we often live in our home. So then we have to have our, our home address listed on Google. And some people are comfortable with that and some people aren't, right? And it can be like extenuating circumstances. I had a stalker a couple of years ago of someone who Rob kicked out, and she was arrested because she's actually looking for me with a gun. Like it was, so I don't have my business is not I'm not SEO'd, right? I don't have my address anywhere, right? For that purpose. Now, I think she's in jail now, so I, possibly could do that. But those are things that can be a reality for somebody, right? It's a weird one, right? But that could be the reality of it. So what kind of open sign do you have, right? How will your clients find you? So if in comparison to if you had a storefront shop, how do your clients find you? Are you relying on walk by traffic, but you're not on a main street, right? If you're relying on walk by traffic, just like if you had a storefront, what's in your windows to stop people so that they'll stop and look? Now, you actually used to be able to put a beautiful planter in front of your door. Good feng shui, by the way. And that would actually stop people. But then everyone started to doing it. So what unique way can you show up so that people, can it be like a road sign? Can it be one of those things that they have in front of like the wavy thing, the green wavy thing that they have, in used car sales lots? Like, do you want to do that? Do you want to do like old school media? You have like a spinner, a person who's spinning a sign that says, come on in, pizza by the slice kind of thing. Are you doing that? Like, do you, as your window dressed? Like, that's why retail places dress their windows. They dress their windows because people stop to see what they do. How are you dressing your windows? Right. So we take some of those key pieces of business 101 from a storefront business and ask ourselves, okay, what does that look like? Right. So how involved are you in your community? When you have a storefront business, the more you're involved in your community, the more that people get to know you because it's word of mouth traffic. What kind of word of mouth traffic are you doing? Right? What communities do you want to be involved in? So how are people finding you? So do people even know what you do? So on your Facebook page, like on your personal profile, do you have on there like what you do? Like there's a whole section in there that you can have your about section. You can add all of your links to all of your social profiles. You could drive people to your website. How do people find out about you and your services? So in the world of marketing, in the old way that my explanation, right, was networking, advertising, public relations, and promotions, right? Proclaiming what you do, proclaiming your purpose, your mission. But how do you get that out? Well, if we look at a typical funnel, right, the top of the funnel is where you have interest that's developed in you and your products and services. So what are you doing to drive people into your funnel? So we even talked about, not using the word funnel, but for right now, right, how are you getting people interested in what you're doing? To have conversation with you. Because just because you have a storefront business in Camrose, Alberta, does not mean that you'll create success, even if you're working 12 hours a day. So this woman worked, so she was there at 8 o'clock and she had long hours. She followed some of the long hours. So she became, right, 8. So I think it was like 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then she was open, same on Saturday. She was open Thursdays to evenings. And we didn't have a lot of people that were downtown Camrose that were open Sundays. So I think she was closed Sundays. But she was by herself, right? So she worked 9 to 6, let's say 6 days a week. And so then didn't have time for anything else because she was working in her business, right? She was on the floor of her business. So there was no marketing, right? And she was hoping and wishing and wanting people to magically find her. And it didn't work that way. And it doesn't work that way. And so then the next piece of it is, we can take something like a barbershop, right? And we can say Ranchel's Barbershop. So people walking by will know that I own a barbershop. And then lots of times people will like, well, they know what I do. For sure. They know that I'm a barber, right? But here's the key. The people who already use a barbershop are going to their barbershop. They've probably been going to that same barbershop for, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, right? So the only time you're going to leave that barbershop is for what? If that barber makes a mistake, and probably several times over, right? There is loyalty in that, right? In that barber. Or the other piece is they go to this opposite. They just go to whatever barbershop they can walk in and get to, but there's no loyalty, right? So that's like the complete opposite, right? The other person's like, no, I always go to Pete's, or I go wherever I can walk in and get an appointment, right? So that piece of it. So if you're a barbershop, right? How are you letting people know like that you're different? Like, what about this is probably the biggest challenge we have, is because then we get in our head, right? There's nothing different about me. I can't do this, but there is something different about you because you do things in a way that no one else does things. And so it's just being open to exploring, and it's probably something that you're really good at, and you're not even awareness that's a thing that you do that no one else does, right? Because you're you and you're unique. And so what does that look like for you, right? And so if you're a storefront, so I guess today is kind of pretend you're a storefront business. How easy are you making it for people to find you, right? How Googleable are you? So if you go into, it's important you go into incognito in your browser, because you can really see like how Googleable you are. If you just go through your regular, right, you're going to come up because you're using it, and you probably have maybe you've Googled your name before or not, right? But how Googleable are you? Okay. And how Googleable is your business name? Like my business name is Ignite Your Success Coaching and Consulting, but my website is actually under ranchelvanbrace.com, because I know that people aren't going to be looking for Ignite Your Success. And if they are, there's some SEO happening. I'm redoing my website right now so that regardless of what they Google, they'll be able to find me. But my show is called Ignite Your Success with Ranchel. So what's coming up now is my show, is my podcast, which is great, right? Because I can direct them to my podcast, but how Googleable are you? How easy are you to find? If you have a Facebook business page, is it under your name or is it under your business name? If it's under your business name, do people know what your business name is, right? Or is it under your personal name? and then attached is your business name. Again, no right or wrong, right? But taking into consideration, I guess, long term, what I want to share with you is, so for a great example would be Tony Robbins, right? So Tony Robbins is you may or may not be familiar with him. He's a speaker, and he has a coaching methodology now that he trains with his business partner. It's called the Robbins Maddens, I think. I'm not sure that's how you pronounce her last name. Coaching certification program. But up until that point in time, Tony Robbins was a speaker and he was a coach. So when he wants to be done, right, what assets does he have to sell, right? Well, legally, you're not allowed to sell your list, right? I don't know about the States. In Canada, we can't sell the list as on its own. It has to be part of a business asset. So I can't sell Ranchelle Van Bryce Coaching because that's my name. But I can sell Ignite Your Success Coaching and Consulting as an asset because that's not my name. It's a business name. So when you're setting up your businesses, just think about that long term. Doesn't mean you have to go and make changes to your branding or anything like that, but just long term thinking about what will happen if I'm not what I want to sell this, or is it just done, which is a possibility as well. It can just be done, right? Your business can be done at that point in time, right? Or you can bring a CEO in, rebrand, and then sell it. Like, there's lots of ways and means to make this happen. It's just a matter of looking at it from that perspective of, what if you were a storefront business? What would you do differently? So, but you can also add into that, what would your hours of operation be? Storefront businesses have hours of operation. Do you, as a coach or consultant or a light worker, do you have hours of operation? Right? And do you know what they are? Right? Meaning, are you answering calls at 10 o'clock at night, or are you not? And again, there's no wrong answer. It's just being in awareness of when or why you do that. Right? And so, looking at it from that business perspective, right? Of what does this long term look like for you and feel like for you? So if you're using, let's say, Facebook as a way to promote you and your business, are people in awareness of what you're promoting? Now, here's the challenge with Facebook: is Facebook doesn't like it when you try to sell stuff on your personal page. They won't. The algorithm is that if you insist on trying to sell stuff on your personal page, they show your personal profile page to less friends, because Facebook is clear about what they want. So if you're not sure, I'll make it really clear. When people go to Facebook, what they really want is for you, the users, to feel good. That's what the Facebook platform is, for you to go and get your dopamine hit so you feel good. And so, one of the things that they talked about years ago, when we were in chaos with the pandemic, and Facebook was going in and it was not allowing some of the posts, right, letting it was against community standards, and not showing your stuff if you were bitching about the government, or you were talking about some of your personal beliefs, which is great. You absolutely can use whatever platform you want to talk about what you believe in, and just know that you don't own the Facebook platform, right? So they're going to do whatever they can to meet the needs of what their vision and their mission was, which is they want you to feel good. And they don't want you to send anybody off Facebook. Like, they're clear. So when you're developing your posts and you're communicating on Facebook, because you can still be controversial in Facebook as long as people feel good about it. as long as you're engaging in conversation, as long as there's, everyone's happy. So what could that look like for you? And Facebook is clear. If you want to sell stuff, go start a business page, right? And then you can sell stuff on your business page. And the Facebook is clear that they're there to make money. So if you have followers on your business page, only 1% of your people will actually see your posts. Because how do they want you to sell stuff on Facebook? They want you to buy advertising. It's simple. Their sandbox, their rules, right? So, but you can use Facebook and your Facebook page to proclaim what you believe in. You can talk about your business without trying to sell something, right? You can talk about what you believe in here. And so when we talked last week about, a red ocean strategy or a blue ocean strategy, right? The blue ocean strategy is taking what you believe in and looking at what everyone else is doing and saying and go, in my industry, this is what I disagree with, and here's what I stand for. And then you can create kind of like what I stand for posts. Right, here's what I believe. I believe that, right, everything in life should be one of ease and flow. Doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean it's simple. Doesn't mean there's no problems. But I believe that in our natural state, we're meant to be one of ease and flow. And then what I would do is I would talk about how to create ease and flow. And I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm sharing my wisdom because that's what Facebook wants you to do. They actually want you to share what you know in all of your brilliance and show up 100% and give it away for free. That's what they want. And the more you play their game, the more that the algorithm changes. That's why when you show a picture of a puppy, you get way more people looking at it because puppies are happy, right? Or you show a cat meme, right? Because that's what they like. So again, using, all of those pieces, right? So how can you create more of a community? Because Facebook likes community. That's why they started groups, right? But they also heard the audience say, there's too much happening. I'm overwhelmed by all of the group notifications, right? And so what they started to do then was they started the algorithm of, now you can't see if you belong to a group. Now they went down to first it was 40%, then it was 30%, then it was 20%, and then the bitching stopped around 10%. So 10% of your audience on a group will see your post, right? But then what happened was that the Facebook user of the group, the creators of the group, started talking about Web 3.0, which is creating your own group and your own website. And Facebook panicked a little bit and they're like, okay, we'll let you do an @ mention to everyone in your group once a day to satisfy the need so people wouldn't leave Facebook. Remember, Facebook is a business. And you want to use their platform for your business. So just be in awareness of there's rules that we have to follow. Okay, what does that look like? Or create your own damn platform. Because you can do that too, if you want to, right? So tying this all together is, I think the most important question is it clear that you're open for business? Is it clear, right? And are you sharing your expertise and your wisdom and gifting your wisdom, right, out into the world of, we'll say, social marketing for free, because that's what that's all about. Long time ago, first time I heard, I was either Frank Kern or might have been Jeff Walker, both of those gentlemen, and I think it was Frank Kern who said, I think it was 2010. Yeah, 2010. And he said, people asked, he and Jeff Walker, let me back this up. He and Jeff Walker, and they were both online marketing people. They actually helped Brendon Burchard. For those of you who know Brendon Burchard, helped him with all his business stuff, and actually worked with Tony Robbins. After Tony Robbins' infomercials stopped working, Tony hired Jeff and Frank Kern. But I remember Frank Kern saying to me, I was at a seminar of his, always, Rachel, always give your free stuff, like your best stuff away for free. Always give really great stuff away for free. He said, because your human beings in general are creators. And so if we give our best stuff for free, we'll be gifted with more best stuff. Right. And he said, then your audience, who's depending on the journey, depending on what journey they're at, everyone has a journey, depending where they're at in their journey, right? They'll see that free stuff. 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 Now, years ago, it was 7 times. Now it's about 15 to 20 times where they see that free stuff. They see that free stuff. They see that. And then they go, holy shit, I gotta talk to Emily, right? Her free stuff is like amazing. And so this is what she does for free. I can't imagine, right? But you'll hear from some coaches and consultants, don't give away your best stuff because then they won't hire you. And so I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, right? And I think more what we can do is maybe talk about what to do, sometimes to talk about how to do it, right? It's too complicated to share on a social media post or even through one video how to do it. But what to do, that is simple to share. What do you need to do, right? So an example, if I'm talking about a neurodivergent brain, what I would say to someone with a neurodivergent brain is what's going to be extremely important for you is to find other ways for you to get your dopamine hits than what you're currently getting. Nutrition is essential. The right nutrition is essential, right? So that you get your more dopamine from your nutrition. Hydration is essential as well, because if you're dehydrated, then you actually can't focus. Like a regular brain can't focus. A neurodivergent brain, right, really can't focus if they're dehydrated, right? Self-talk is also really important. A neurodivergent brain is having conversations in their head all of the time. They actually, right, that's how they process, right? So to normalize for the neurodivergent brain. Now, I didn't say how to eat correctly. I just said here's the things that someone with a neurodivergent brain would need to say. Now, then the next time I might say, here's some nutrition ideas, right, about the neurodivergent brain. Stay away from dyes, right? Read your labels and stay away from, Tasha, you and I talked about this the other day. Read your labels, and if you can't pronounce it, don't eat it, right? And so, and that can go with anybody, not even just a neurodivergent brain, but right, if you can't pronounce it, then don't eat. If it's blue and it's not a blueberry, perhaps maybe you shouldn't be eating it or drinking it, right? So like Choco Puffs, maybe not so natural, right? Fruit Loops, loved Fruit Loops, but how do they get to them to be pink? That would be a dye, right? Right? Look at the lid. How much sugar is there? Right? Did you know that X amount of sugar is like cocaine on a brain? Right? I'm just, that's stuff that I know from my world of curves, but I didn't realize that, I sometimes forgot, right? That, people don't know that, right? So there's things that you know in your world, even from other worlds, that you could talk about, right? In your existing, with your existing business. I'm no longer a weight loss coach. I'm no longer a bodybuilder, but I have knowledge that I could share. So what kind of knowledge do you have? So going back to the original, which was, do people know that you're open? Do people know what you do? Do people know how to get in contact with you? Do people know who to serve? And that doesn't mean you do like a CTA, a call to action on every post. That just means, do you have anywhere, if you're using Facebook, do you have anywhere on Facebook how to get a hold of you? Right? Do you have your phone number listed? Do you have your email listed? Right? In your about section on Facebook, do you have like what you do, your what you stand for, your blue ocean strategy? Right? especially if you're using Facebook to attract clients. All right. So enjoy that little bit of information today. I was so excited when I was thinking about this when it came to you last night. I was like, I had this vision of this woman and how bad I felt for her when she closed. And I think it was actually I'm just gonna stop this because this is irrelevant, but just for you.